Hello everyone, it's History Behind the Warrior, and welcome to today's breakdown and in-depth analysis of yesterday's spectacular kuei trailer, which put on exhibition a lot, and I mean a lot of different things in terms of gameplay, dialogue, and of course, the overarching narrative, which is what we will be strictly focusing on today. Now, just before we do break down the trailer, I will first be tackling the new official character bios for both Smoke and Rain, as both of these characters actually help paint a more full picture of what exactly is going on here, and actually helps add a lot of context to what is going on. Now, just before we do begin, and I normally hate asking for this, but yesterday my reaction video did get age restricted, and of course in typical YouTube fashion, it basically killed its reach. So before we start here, I'd super appreciate it if you could just give this video a thumbs up, as it will allow the channel to bounce back a bit. But anywho, let's get right onto the video. Now first off, let's touch on Smoke here, as quite a bit has changed about his character, with his bio saying the following. As a boy, Smoke lived to hunt with his family. The final hunt, however, ended in tragedy, having accidentally trespassed onto kuei lands. They were attacked. Smoke was orphaned. Ashamed by his warrior's actions, the kuei's Grand Master adopted Smoke. He raised him alongside his sons, Scorpion and Sub-Zero. Eventually, Smoke chose to make the kuei's mission his own, but as he lacked his brother's innate supernatural abilities, he set out to master practical magic. Having done so, he now joins them in Earthrealm's defense. So yeah, quite a lot has changed about this character, as it looks like the Enenra demon background that was expanded on in the rebooted continuity no longer actually exists here, with Smoke instead taking on a more militarized approach to combat, utilizing a karambit, a smoke grenade, as well as normal shrapnel grenades. But one thing I definitely want to highlight is that despite not having supernatural abilities, Smoke manages to stay up to pace with his brothers out of pure raw skill and talent. So I do quite like what they have done with his character here. Also, I never thought that we'd ever see the day where Smoke, Sub-Zero, and Scorpion would all be raised under the same roof. That is super crazy to me. And with this family dynamic added, it does so much for individual character relationships. Also, with the mention of his brother's innate abilities, does that actually mean that whoever's under the Scorpion mantle gained his Hellfire abilities naturally, opposed to making a deal with Quan Chi? It's a very interesting minor detail, but I do think it gives us all a rough idea of just how different these characters are, especially if that is Huai Liang under the Scorpion mask. Now moving on, we do have Rain here, with his bio saying the following. As a student at Outworld's exclusive Imperial Academy of Sorcery, Rain amazed his peers with his singular aptitude for water magic. Having honed his craft of water magic into a serious weapon, he now hopes to learn the realm's darkest and most powerful sorcery. Now, just before we go ahead and break this down, I do want to highlight that this is in fact one of two different bios that he has, as there was one prior to this that did name drop two different characters. So, if you don't want to be spoiled, I highly recommend clicking on that timestamp now, as it reveals two characters but are yet to be announced for this timeline. So the secondary bio does say the following. As a student of Outworld's exclusive Imperial Academy of Sorcery, Rain amazed his peers with his singular aptitude for water magic. Rain's skills drew General Shao's attention, who honed his water magic into a great weapon. Rain's victories so impressed Empress Sindel that she appointed him as Outworld's High Mage. And there's just so much to take away from this here. And from what you can tell, the bios are near identical, with the obvious names removed. Now first off, let's touch on Rain before we tackle the other two, and the lore implications that do lie here. Now first and foremost is that it looks like he has a slightly tweaked up origin that is actually very different to his original concept. No longer a freedom fighter for Edenia, it looks like he gains the interest of Shao, not from his combat skill, but instead that of his magic, which is a really different and interesting way to explore this character, as I do believe this is designed to play into a plot element that I will be touching on when we get to the trailer. And one thing I want to point out here is that there is no mention of his ties to Argus, nor his demigod status. So maybe in this timeline, he may not have that, or he is still unaware of his divine origin. So Rain looks to be extremely promising right now, with how integral he could be to this game's story. Now of course, we have to talk about two names featured here, General Shao and Empress Sindel, as the lore implications here are massive and change a lot of preconceived notions that I did have about the two realms. Because when I really started to think about it, Edenia has never once actually been name dropped since the start of this new timeline. Not through intros, and most certainly not in the bios of Kitana and Melina. So what could possibly be going on here? Well, there's a number of different theories. And I believe that the title of Empress Sindel and General Shao kind of hints what may have happened here. So first and foremost, that the Outworld Edenian War did in fact happen, with Edenia winning, with Sindel herself taking reign and control as it merged with Outworld. Hence how she's in a higher position than that of Shao. Then again, there's always the possibility that the Edenians were the aggressors here and took Outworld by force, which in turn also raises the question of what exactly came of King Jared here, because neither he nor Edenia is mentioned by name, but he is featured in the background of the Edenia stage during the opening of the Kombat cast. So again, there's a lot of clues here circulating about what exactly had happened to Outworld itself, as it looks to be very different from how we've come to know it. Which now finally takes us onto the trailer, and it opens up with Liu saying the following.
The Lin Kuei is a centuries-old clan dedicated to Earthrealm's defense. I will need your help. The fate of the realms may depend on it.
Now for those unaware, the Lin Kuei in this time period is devoted to defending and protecting Earthrealm, not quite the assassin organization it once was. However, with the fall of its Grand Master and its falling into the hands of Bi-Han, he has a new vision for the Lin Kuei, one where they serve themselves. And this is further cemented in the trailer when we do get this bit of exposition from Bi-Han.
We settle for defending Earthrealm when we could help lead it.
Now it's been no secret that he is looking to betray the Fire God, and I believe that this trailer takes place just before it, as I will be touching on that mysterious voice in a second. Now there was no way that I could talk about this trailer and not mention where it could possibly take place. Currently, the stages we see here are yet to be revealed, but if I am to guess, I'm pretty damn sure this is Outworld, as its architecture is very different from what we see in Earthrealm, and one of the soldiers is wearing very traditional Outworld armor, the very same that Goro is wearing. Don't worry, we'll get back to this guard in a bit. I think this is further cemented when we go back to the start of the trailer and see Liu Kang standing next to what I believe to be an Outworld map. What's the most intriguing about this map, however, are the marked places put on top of it, as it's very clear that Liu is hunting something down that is yet to be verbally named. But I'm pretty sure we all know who he is indeed hunting: the Dragon King, Onaga. as the foot soldier I mentioned earlier is wearing the same armor that Goro is. Now for Goro, it does make sense, as he is of Shokan descent, and they themselves derive from dragons. So for just some random goon to wear it, must mean that there's something more going on here. And when we go inside the temple, it looks like this is in fact the interior of the lost tomb of the Dragon King, as Scorpion is attacked by 4 of his soldiers. But how do I know this is indeed Onaga's soldiers? Well, outside of their stellar designs, they do resonate a green energy that is typically associated with necromancy. But the interesting part about this is when we look at the background of this area, is that not all of the mummified warriors are alive here. So what could be going on? Well, I believe that this may softly imply that Onaga is indeed dead, because in Liu Kang's bio, it's made very clear that he's wanted to stop the threats of the past, with Onaga clearly being one of them. But now there is someone that is able to utilize his mummified army without him necessarily being alive. But who could this be? Well, I'm pretty sure it's Rain, as his bio does also state that he has an interest to learn the realm's darkest and most powerful sorcery. Plus, he knows that Liu Kang is hunting him, as he does say this.
Liu Kang sent you to learn our secrets.
With the secrets he's alluding to being what allows him to revive fragments of Onaga's army. But he's definitely not in on this alone, as we do hear an ambiguous voice welcoming the Lin Kuei.
The Lin Kuei, we have been expecting you.
Now it's led to many theorizing who this could be. Onaga, Reiko, maybe even Havoc. Well, if I'm guesstimating, I believe this to be Shao Kahn, as narratively, it does make sense here, as it is he that specifically saw the talent that Rain possessed. And with Shao as a general, and Rain himself working amongst the high courts, it's the perfect power play to begin to sabotage Edenia's rule. And I think this has already begun with Melina and Kitana, because one of the twin sisters is suffering from the mysterious Tarkat infection, whilst the other is perfectly fine. And there's voices in the court right now seeking to turn the two against each other. So when you think about it, it makes so much sense. And knowing how Bi-Han feels about Liu Kang, I think they're extending this partnership to him, as we do get this line from him here, where he takes on a different tone.
We will achieve greatness.
So in theory, I believe that Shao is going to offer Bi-Han something he cannot refuse. A world without Liu Kang. But with that said, everyone, what do you think is currently going on with this temple and the plan surrounding Onaga's army? At this point, the return of the Dragon King is inevitable, and it very well looks like Rain could be the mastermind and key to reviving the former Primordial. But please do comment down below and let me know any of your own ideas, as a picture is worth 1,000 words, let alone a trailer this compact. But for now, everyone, that has been it for me. So as always, stay strong, stay well, and keep on fighting. Take care, everyone. I'll catch you all soon.